It's showtime!
Whether it's something like story significance, how sweet you think a character is, or maybe just how many puns they make,
I can only sucrose that they were Kale-ing on someone. At least that's as far as Sino.
if Sino ever stops making all these puns, I'll be very distraught. Needless to say, there's a lot of things to love about all the characters. Yes, even the ones you hate. Even the ones a lot of you hate. So let's say some nice things about characters that I often don't say nice things about. Albedo is easy. It's his color scheme. Blue, black, white, and gold is a favorite of mine, and in a game like Warframe, you'll find me using it quite a bit. Speaking of other games, at the same time this video is going live, a video on my second Totally Not Dead channel is going up about Diablo 4, and I'd appreciate it if you could maybe go check that out if you're interested. Alhaitham's elemental skill is quick and responsive, and above all, you can aim it into the ground and do an instant plunging attack, and that is just awesome. Amber, I am a sucker for an arrow rain. I love them on archers, and it's no exception here. I love ambers. I just don't really use it. I wish it was a little bit better. Ito, how do I pick just one thing of Ito's? If I have to pick my absolute favorite, it's got to be his just overall personality. I have endless patience for it, and I love it. I just wish he would show up in more events. Sometimes there's events where he doesn't show up at all. It's so sad. Barbara, her absolutely gorgeous ability effects. They are just beautiful. Beto, obviously it's her parry. Her parry is fun as hell to use, and it's way better than all the other parries. That's just a fact. Bennett, look, it'll be controversial to say this, but I love that he's overpowered and that he makes my other characters overpowered. Because when teams are strong, I'm sorry, they're fun. Candace, as flawed as it may be in the current state of the game, I absolutely adore what her kit is trying to do. I love the encouragement of a quick swap playstyle. I love the infusion of Hydro. I just think Candace was released too soon, and we just don't have the ability to utilize her well yet. Chongyun, I love the 3 ice blades he fires out of his normal attacks from his Constellation 1, and I think we need more effects like this. And yes, I know there are other similar effects on other characters. It's kind of sound funny to say this, but my favorite thing about Kole is how her C2 broke everyone's brains when they saw how much text is in it. It's a little bit of a shame that it's not nearly as complex as it looks based on its length, but you know, it was a funny reaction when she was released regardless. Sino, it is the puns. It is without a doubt the puns. They are the best. I love his burst. I love the whole like cloth. I love it all, but the puns, they're fantastic. And the more it hurts people, the better it makes them. That's the beauty of puns. Dia, it is the concept of her kit. I love bruisers, tanks that are meant to be also doing some damage. However, the execution on Dia, obviously not the best, but you know, is what it is. Diluc, easily his entire spread of constellations and just how cohesive they are to his overall game plan and how interesting they are in terms of changing his kit up slightly. And I love attack speed. Okay, gotta say something nice about Diona. Well, it's not hard. I think the shoes are pretty cool. I like that they're meant to look like a cat's back foot, and you know, cats are great. Dory, probably the safest bet to say the most hated character in the game based off my poll, but come on, her attack animations are some of the most unique in the entire game, and they honestly may be a contender for the single best in my opinion. Eula, just like Albedo, it's her color scheme. What can I say? I'm a sucker for it. I love it. Tarzan, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. This one's hard. I'd like that she buffs my Wanderer. Fischl, I love her C6. It just makes more numbers on the screen, and that's what I'm all about. Ganyu, my favorite thing is probably the thing that a lot of people hate by now, and that's her charge attack. After almost 2.5 years of using it, I haven't gotten sick of it. I love that I can forgo the horrendous auto-aim system and just hit whatever I want to hit. We really dream small in Genshin sometimes. Goro, another one where I love the color scheme. The bright teals against all the neutral colors with the little accents of red look really nice. I could do without the crop top though. Hu Tao, much like Ito, endless patience for her personality and her shenanigans. I love every time she shows up in a scene. More Hu Tao in events, please. Jean, my first 5-star ever, and my favorite thing remains to be what it was ever since day one, and that is her burst heal. How can you not love the just massive team-wide heal? Kazuha's elemental skill, particularly that you can use it in the air, making it an amazing exploration tool. Kaya, his elemental burst, because who doesn't love an orbital, and it actually is a lot better than people give it credit for. Ayaka, I'm prepared to piss some people off with this one because my favorite thing about Ayaka is her elemental dash. I don't know why I just called it an elemental dash. I don't think I've ever called it that in my entire life. Ayato, without a doubt, it is his elemental skill. I love just holding that button down, just watching everything get ripped apart. Kaching, while Alhaitham, just saying while and Alhaitham back to back, it's just awkward for me. Anyway, in any case, while Alhaitham may have really power crept her skill in terms of just how responsive it is and how good it feels, Kaching's will always have a special place in my heart because she was my first main on my main account. Now, I had literally just missed Venti when I started the game, so having Kaching and being able to aim her skill up in the air made me feel a little bit less bad about not having Venti when everyone around me was talking about how good he was to use, and I was seeing him in videos all the time, and it made me sad. But Kaching made it a little bit less sad. My favorite thing about Klee is when she escapes Jean's custody for her birthday, travels out of the country, and kills a gigantic dragon and gives you the drops. That's just badass. Sarah, easily her elemental burst. I love this thing. I always have since day one, and I love using it against gigantic enemies where every single little thunderbolt hits and she just shreds their health. Kooky, she just makes Hyper Bloom teams feel so damn good. I mean, Raiden does too, but Kooky I don't have to change the gear out to do, so, you know, give us loadouts. Layla's outfit is adorable, and I especially love the hood she has in the back, even the fact that it lets the hair down. It's all very nice. I really do enjoy the fact that Lisa's skill is a held skill that gets stronger the longer you charge it. I just wish it was a little bit better in actual practical use, and maybe was a bit more supported throughout her kit. Mika, it's his absolutely massive attack speed buff. We need more of this in the game. More attack speed, please. I will not be content until my Ayato looks like he is violently glitching out when he is attacking. Mona, I love her astrology theme and constellations around the stars and stuff like that. It makes for some really beautiful theming with her abilities, and even in the version 2.8 event domain for the Golden Apple Archipelago. Nahida, now this has nothing to do with in-game, so you can feel free to call this like a cop-out or something if you wish, but it's her demo. I think it is an audio and visual masterpiece, and I don't think it's going to be anytime soon that I'm going to see a demo that surpasses it. If you want something that's related to the game, it's the way her burst interacts with different elements within your team. I think it's a really interesting mechanic. Nilou, now you can probably guess what this is because you either love Nilou for this reason or you hate Nilou for this reason. It's her special blooms related to building around Dendro and Hydro only. Sure, it is limiting, and I understand that that can really suck for some people. I also think it's really cool, and I would like to see more like this. Ningguang, now overall you could just say this is her kit as a whole, but I love that her burst and her charge attack creates so many little projectiles that create a lot of little numbers. I find it very satisfying to do. Noelle, summon gigantic Geo Sword. Smash things to death with gigantic Geo Sword. Profit. My favorite thing about Chi-Chi is definitely her outfit. The girl, she's got drip. Raiden Shogun, no, it's not her elemental burst. No, it's not her overpowered early constellations. It's actually her elemental skill. The laziness and comfort this thing gives you whenever you want to apply just a little bit of electro to help someone out, whether it be to aggravate, hyper bloom, whatever you need, this is a godsend. Razor, easily his burst with the massive, absolutely gigantic attack speed steroid it gives, makes him a blast to play. And it's a wolf and it looks awesome. Rosaria, it's her exploration passive. Please, more interesting things like this, and for the love of God, stop giving us cooking passives. Please stop giving us cooking passives. Kokomi, it's the fishy boop idol. How can you not love it? It's adorable. Even though it's been power crept to all hell, my favorite thing about Sayu still remains to be her elemental skill. The utility it offers is just awesome, and you get to make a bunch of Sonic jokes. Shenna, obviously, it's got to be the way she buffs cryo damage. It is so fun feeling, and I can't wait to maybe one day get that C6 and feel that unlimited power. Heizo, punch, 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 kick, punch, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch. Sucrose, her C4, for a fun and innovative way to potentially make you want to play this character on field, and who doesn't love cooldown reduction that lets you spam your fun abilities just a little bit more. Child, now this is actually kind of a tough one because my instinct is to say the stance switching, but can you really call it stance switching when you just don't really use the bow aspect at all? Like sure, you might use the bow burst sometimes, but in reality he's basically just a dual wield sword character. So if I logic my way out of it like that, I gotta say the Riptide mechanic, because watching that thing just cascade through a small group of enemies is oh so satisfying. Now, as much as I love Toma's very, very stylish attacks or his love of the animals, it's his demo music that I truly love. I think it's a real standout among the 4 stars. For Tighnari, it is definitely the instant charge shots you get from his elemental skill. It is so satisfying to do. For Traveler, it's got to be the elemental switching. While it may not always pan out for every element, it's always something to look forward to when we're going into a new region, wondering what's the Traveler going to do this time? Maybe they're going to be super meta. Venti, it's his burst, come on. Even if it doesn't exactly do much these days, it's still really satisfying when it does. Wander, there's nothing even close to being my favorite. Next to the ability that he can fly, even if only for a brief moment, he can still fly. I truly don't know if there's anything I like about Xiangling other than her Pyronado, so really by process of elimination, that's Probably my favorite thing about her. Much like Xiao, my favorite thing, no, the other way around. Much like Kazuo, my favorite thing about Xiao is that he can use his skill mid-air. Now, it may not be nearly as useful as Kazuo's is, but it is still useful, and it's also just really cool. And I would really like if we could use more abilities in the air. My favorite thing about Xingqiu is how after 2.5 years, it still feels really goddamn good to use a double elemental skill with Sacrificial Sword. Xinyan has got to be the C2. Now, Xinyan has a lot of cool things going for her. I love her Gacha Splash, and her animations are gorgeous. I think the C2 is a really cool design choice, allowing the burst to always crit. It's just much like Dia, the overall kit has relatively poor execution, just leads to a character that just kind of feels bad to play in most cases. For Yae Miko, it is definitely the totems placed by her elemental skill. Now, the only thing I wish is that her burst replaced them when it destroyed them. Yanfei easily, it's her charge attack. Really cool animation on this. For Yao, it's the absolute chaos that ensues whenever she pops her elemental burst. Those little bunnies just flinging little balls everywhere is hilarious to watch, and the rate at which it heals your team is insane. There are so many reasons why I love Yelan and why she is my absolute favorite character to play, but easily it is the elemental skill that is so satisfying to use not only in combat but also in the overworld for exploration. Yoimi is a difficult one to pick between her absolutely magnetic personality where she can make a friend of anybody, or her pew pew, because the pew pew is a lot of fun, but it's also kind of like her personality too. But ultimately, I gotta go with the personality. It just shines in everything she does. Yunjin, much like Shenhe, it is the core thing that she does. The way that she's buffing normal attacks, but not only that, increasing the attack damage that they do, and also the attack speed. She's just bundling a lot of things I love in a character, and I really enjoy the niche she is trying to occupy. And ending with probably the most lukewarm, boring take you could imagine, my favorite thing about Zhongli is the thick shield that lets me ignore the world crumbling around me. So look, if you want to participate in the comments, you could write out the entire list of characters and say your favorite thing about every character. That's a lot of work. Or what's more interesting maybe is say your least favorite character and then say your favorite thing about them, because a lot of people have that character and a lot of you is going to be Dory. So maybe if you don't want the comments to look like a Dory appreciation thread, you know, maybe just pick another character that you don't like and say your favorite thing about them, or a couple. You do you. If you're in Diablo 4, please maybe go check out my Diablo 4 video on my other channel. It's especially helpful if you don't know much about the game and you would like to. Thank you to you for watching as always. Thank you to my members and my patrons for supporting me, and I will see you in the next one.
Attaboy!